There's a moment every guy has felt, but few ever talk about it. You're with her, you've made it past the small talk era, showing up as your best self, or at least trying to, being charming, polite. Funny, respectful, you're doing everything you were told you're supposed to do. She laughs at your jokes, smiles, ate your stories, says things like, "That's interesting," or "Oh wow," but inside you can feel it, she's not fully there. She's listening, but she's not invested. She's responding, but she's not engaging, and slowly, without anything obviously going wrong, the dynamic shifts. You feel yourself reaching for her attention, adjusting your tone, stretching for another story, asking another question, just to keep things moving. And somewhere deep in your chest, it hits you, you're chasing, and maybe you think, if I just say the right thing, maybe then she'll lean in, maybe then she see what I see. But it doesn't happen. You'll go home, check your phone, wait for a theme massage that takes a little too long to comb, or worse, never comes at all, and nowheres. The part that really messes with your head, you're worth her time, you know you're interesting. Loyal, self-aware, you have a good heart, you're solid. But for some reason, she just didn't feel it. She didn't connect, shed and chase. Here's the truth that breaks the entire cycle. Women don't chase surface-level charm. They don't fall for the perfectly planned lines or the polished version of you that tries too hard not to mess up. They fall for impact. They fall for energy. They fall for the guy disrupts their patterns, who stir something they didn't expect to feel curiosity, challenge, desire, real emotion. And how do you trigger that kind of impact? Not with force, not with performance, with precision, with 5 simple questions that no guy ever thinks to ask, because they're not meant to impress, they're meant to connect. These aren't cheesy, these aren't key, these are sharp, disarming guns picked. They bypass the boring conversations she's had 100 times and drop her into a moment that it feels fresh, different, real. Ask them, and she starts leaning forward, her eyes lock and her energy shifts. And before you know, if chase isn't coming from you anymore, it's coming from her. If you've ever wondered why some guys barely say a word and still leave a woman thinking about them for days, this is why. Let's get into it. Think about this for a second. The average woman, especially one who's attractive, intelligent, and emotionally aware, gets approached constantly online, real life, at work, at the gym. The Ms. likes half clever comments under her posts. Guys trying to make her laugh, trying to stand out, trying to be different. But here's the catch. The more she's approached, the more immune she becomes to basic charm. She's not rude about it. She's polite. She entertains the moment. She might even be friendly, but inside she's filtering constantly. Her guard is up, not because she's cold, but because she's tired of conversations that go nowhere, tired of answering the same recycled questions, tired of guys who want her attention but didn't know what to do with her mind. Hurt with her presence. Now imagine this. You sit across from her, not saying much, no performance, no ego, just stillness, comfort, control. You ask her one question, something no one else has ever asked. Not cheesy, not over the top, just something real, something that makes her pause, blink, and say, "That's a good question." In that moment, everything shifts. Her tone changes, her eyes soften, she leans in, not physically at first, but energetically, and suddenly you're not just some guy who seems nice. You're not trying to get her attention anymore. You hate it, and here's why. That moment is so powerful. It's rare. Most guys never make her feel anything different. They stick to the script, but you disrupt the pattern. You make her curious, and once a woman is curious, once she's emotionally invested in trying to figure you out, that's when she starts chasing. This isn't manipulation. This isn't about wrecking her. It's about standing out by being the one man in the room who actually gets it, who doesn't need to talk over her, prove himself, or rush the moment. You ask the kind of questions that open doors into her mind that most guys never even get near. And the best part, these questions aren't complicated. They're simple, but they're intentional, designed to unlock emotion, tension, and connection. You don't need books, money, or a perfect story. You need timing, presence, and the right words. That's what you're about to get. 5 questions that flip the dynamic and shift the chase. Let's break Them down, these 5 questions are far from ordinary. They're designed to bypass the usual noise and tap into layers of emotion and thought that most conversations never reach. When used, wealthy create a magnetic energy a connection that feels effortless, electric, natural, but unforgettably. Each question unlocks a different door inside her mind, stirring feelings that pull her closer without even realizing. Let's dive deep into each onion. What's something people get wrong about you? This question is a game changer, Bess. It touches a universal truth of Urian carries hidden layers that few truly see, especially women who've been around the dating block or who have learned to protect themselves from judgment society boxes. People based in surface level traits, the way they look, their style, their job title, their social media presence, and she's felt that pressure too when this question exists. It gives her permission to drop the mask for a moment to reveal the part of herself that's been misunderstood and dismissed or overlooked. It invites vulnerability without forcing it. It's not about prying or interrogation. It's about sincere interest, and that sincerity makes her feel seen in that pause. When she's thinking about what to say, you're already creating emotional contrast because most conversations are asked that most guys stay in the shallow end, never daring to explore their real person beneath the surface. When you ask this, you're signaling that you want to know her, not just the version she shows everyone else, and that alone Makasayu unforgettably do. What's something you've always wanted to do, but haven't yet dreams? Air powerful, they're the language of the soul. When she talks about what she's wanted to do, but hasn't, she opens a door to her hopes, fears, and desires. This question flips the usual small talk upside down by moving the focus to possibility, not past experience. Might tell you about a trip she's dreamed of taking, a skill she's wanted to learn, or a bold move she's hesitated to make. And as she talks, you're invited into that world, not just as a listener, but as someone who could be part of that future. The energy in the room changes and someone starts talking about their dreams. It's electric, vulnerable, alleviant. Here's the magic: you become a part of that energy, even if you don't say it. Just the fact that you ask this question puts you in a different category. You're not just present, you're meaningful. And once she starts imagining what she could do, she often begins imagining who she'd want beside her. Suddenly, you're no longer just a guy she met. You're someone who's planted the seed of a future she wants. 3. What was your first impression of me? This question is both bold and playful. It takes the attention off her and puts it on you, but not in a needy way. It invites her to reflect honestly and Pontius. What did she really think when she first saw or met you? This moment of reflection is critical because it activates her emotions about you in real time. When she articulates her first impression, she's mentally mapping you, assigning you value, and perhaps even defending her initial feelings. This causes her brain to work overtime, engaging with you on a deeper level. It's a subtle form of emotional ensuring. When she voices her thought, she owns that impression, and ownership creates investment. It's no longer just a vague attraction, it becomes something tangible, something she has begun to define if asked with calm confidence. This question creates a unique intimacy. It shows you're secure enough to invite her judgment, which paradoxically makes you more attractive. You're confident but curious, vulnerable but in control. 4. What do you value most in the people? Yeah, keep close at this question moves beyond surface level attraction into the heart of what really matters: values, loyalty, trust, and connection. It signals that you're not interested in a casual fling or shallow interaction. You want to understand the foundation of her relationships, the qualities that shape her inner circle. As answers, she reveals what kind of person she truly respects. She reflects in qualities like honesty, kindness, ambition, humor, or emotional availability. And while she's doing this, he's also silently comparing those values against the energy you're bringing into the conversation. This question encourages solutioning. It asks her to hold a mirror up to herself and to you simultaneously. Your energy, your presence, and your vibe match what she's describing you become. A living embodiment of her ideals. This doesn't require you to say a word. It's about how you show up, presence, authenticity, and quiet confidence. Speak louder than any clever line the moment she recognizes those qualities in you is the moment attraction deepens. 5. What makes a man unforgettable? This is the question that lingers long after the conversation ends. It's philosophical, emotional, and deeply personal. Every woman has an idea of what makes a man stand out, what makes him impossible to forget, maybe. It's a feeling he gave her, a way he made her think differently, or the way he made her laugh when she least expected it. When you ask this, you invite her into her memories, her emotions, her past experiences. She taps into what truly moves her beyond surface level attraction, and while she's exploring that, she's unconsciously asking herself if you could be that kind of man. You don't have to fit some cliche or kick list, you just need to embody qualities that create emotional resonance, authenticity, presence, kindness, confidence, mystery, and as she speaks, her mind is working. She's measuring, feeling this question is acquiesce power, move it, plants a seed, it sets a standard without saying a word. It's the emotional hook that pulls her deeper together. These 5 questions transform a typical conversation into a compelling experience that stays with her long after it ends. They create space for vulnerability, curiosity, reflection, and emotional connection. The key ingredients for attraction that's real, lasting, and magnetic. Now, here's the important part. This isn't just theory, it's a tool set you can use right now, very next time you find yourself talking with someone you want to connect with. On a deeper level, don't wait for the perfect moment, because that momentarily shows up on its own. Instead, create it. Try asking just one of these questions the next time you're in a conversation. Watch how the energy subtly shifts. Notice the change in her eyes, the way her body language softens or leans in. Pay attention to the way the atmosphere moves from polite to electric without forcing it, without rushing it, and then take it further. Build on her answer. Stay present. Be curious without pressure. The magic happens not just in the question itself, but in your ability to hold the space for her truth, because when you do this consistently, you lead conversations with intention and emotional intelligence. You'll find something incredible happen. She starts to seek you out. She starts to wonder about you when you're not around. She starts chasing in a way that feels natural and neutral. You're no longer the guy who's trying to win her over. You're a man who's already captured her attention, and from that place, everything shifts. So commit to this. Make these questions part of your real conversations. Watch how it changes everything about your partner, interactions, your confidence, and yes, your results. And when it happens, when she starts chasing, you'll know exactly why. This isn't about tricks or games. It's about presence, a connection, and authenticity. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't need validation, but naturally draws. It's about understanding the true attraction isn't something you chase, it's something you create. But showing up, fully asking the right questions, and listening deeply. Remember, every meaningful connection begins with a moment of genuine curiosity and respect. When you master that, you become unforgettable, not because you said the right words, but because you made her feel something she didn't expect to feel. So take these 5 questions, own them, and watch how your relationships transform. The chase will no longer be one-sided. It will be a dance, a dynamic exchange fueled by genuinity, interest, emotional depth, and magnetic energy. This is just the beginning. The path forward is yours to claim. Show up, be bold, be real, and most importantly, watch how she starts chasing